So welcome to Sangeet Shala, the School of Music. So our ultimate goal that RPM and SKS have, right, is to music ko enjoy karo, or while we ourselves enjoy singing songs, we can share the happiness through music to others. And as I recently came to know, there are specific PhD programs that are where music is used as a therapeutic ways to for by singers to help people recover from certain kinds of mental and other illness. So today is the first class. This class is a little different. I mean, for those of you who have attended the previous two classes, this is a little different. The previous two was more focused on a specific song or songs. This is purely based on improving our music fundamentals, and once we improve the music fundamentals, it will impact all of our songs that we sing. Meaning, it is fundamentally corrects our mind to sing nicely, and hence it will impact all the songs that you see. So as you go through the class, you will realize, without realizing, you will slowly change your the way you sing in such a way that it will start sounding better and better and better. Only because you will start understanding the fundamentals, and the practices will lead you to do that. With that said, this specific class is called the Sounds of Music, meaning Sangeet ki Awaaz. So it is all about the sound of the music, as we all hear it, whether it is a song or a note like this. So this is all nothing else but sounds, and different kinds of sounds, and this is all about the entire fundamentals is about hearing and reproducing sound. So what that means is, the ultimate goal here is very, very simple. Whatever we listen, or we should be able to reproduce, meaning as is. So if I produce this sound, or this, or this, all of these are different kinds of sounds. So a song or a music is nothing else but composed of these kinds of notes, this kind of sound that is produced by the instruments, and all that we are trying to do is the whole goal is to equip ourselves in such a way that we are able to hear a specific kind of a sound, and our throat then is able to produce. So with this said, I have heard from a very renowned teacher that we all have limitations, meaning if I have a limitation to listen to certain frequencies like this, then if I have limitation of that, then I can't reproduce. Meaning, then no matter how much ever I try, like I can try to improvise, but I will not be able to really reproduce. On the other hand, we might be good to listen to certain range of songs like this. So we might be able to remain within the range of the frequency, and we will be really good at it, and we can reproduce that thing fantastic. And most people are like that. So most human beings can't do something like this at the same time. So we will not be. We may be able to listen, but we may not be able to reproduce. At the same time. So our goal here is fundamentally is to listen to a specific sound, and if we can reproduce the sound exactly as is to the frequency. No, for example, when you're listening to this, I'm not expected to say, when they say, so I'm not expected to say, sa. Though the frequencies are very, very different. So you can't. So we should be able to listen to a frequency and reproduce it exactly like that. And that is what this class is really is going to try and achieve at least. Okay. With that said, before we get into the different things in the class, we have to understand what Bhai just now said. See, Bharesh Bhai was saying about the notes, right? So the notes are, so you may have heard this thing from the past, right? Sarigama Padanisa, right? This you must have heard hundreds of times. So these are, each is called a note. these are nothing else but notes. So in this drawing here, so we have this called Mandra Saptak, Madhya Saptak, and Tar Saptak. So this is one is, so each means this. So these are the 7 notes, Saregama as it is written there, Sare Gama Pada Nisa, and you can see it is repeated 3 times. These are roughly, this is a very highly simplified version. It can get pretty complicated, and Ramesh Bhai will talk about it in detail soon. But like essentially what it means is there are gangs of 7 notes that you can use to produce sounds like, or so this is a higher frequency. So Lata Mangeshkar and people like that will use a pretty high, their scales are higher. So when you say Sare Gama Pada Nisa, right, these are not just random alphabet. Sa stands for Sajja, Re stands for Rishabh, Ga stands for Gandhar, Ma stands for Madhyam, Pa for Pancham, Dha for Dhaivat, and Ni for Nishad. So when we go into the classes later, I can explain each of the why is, so they chose Sa, Re, Gama, Pada, Nisa. I mean, it is same thing like in, say, Western classical, Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Ti. Right? It's nothing else but the same. So all our, human voice has a certain frequency. For example, when I say Sa, so this is my basic Sa. So when I relax and breathe out and simply say Sa, not this, Sa. So each of us has a certain basic human frequency, and that as Ramesh Bhai will try to figure out and explain is our basic Sa that we start with, and then from there we go to Ga, Ma, Pada, Nisa. So my goal first would be here, and our goal first would be to figure out where each of your Sa starts from. If we don't know that, if I play something like this, so if I play like this, and if you try to sing and you will try stress your voice to match the frequency, and which is not the right thing. So when you learn the alankars, which is called the various kind of notes in classical music, and the way to learn to start with is based on your fundamental scale, and that is this entire class is nothing else but all the time repeating the 7 notes, Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pada, Nisa, in variety of different combinations. And trust me, there are hundreds of different combinations, and the first 15 to 20 are really interesting, and you would love it. But in order to do that, so you can't be learning, most of us can't be learning like this. It's too high for most of us. But we may be falling in this range. So it all depends on where our scale is, and so what you're seeing on the screen here is a 61 key keyboard that I have, and you can see there are 3 gangs of Sa, Re, Ga, Ma, Pada, Nisa, and this is a simplified version in the sense I have put Sa here. I mean the first Sa here, then Re, Ga, Ma, Pada, Nisa. The Sa can start from any of the white or black keyboard. That depends on where. So if you sit and say Sa, so if you try to match that frequency, it can fall in any of these 61 keys, and most of you will fall somewhere in the middle. But that may not fall in the 3 the slots that I've chosen. The only reason I've chosen is to show you that there is a concept of lower frequency, mid-level frequency, and high frequency. And so depending upon where our natural tone is, we will fall into it. And so this is important to understand, and we will in the next couple of slides we will have Ramesh Bhai talk about the scale, which is the first and very, very first thing, like I said, we want to do. Okay. With that said, what will be the course content? So the course contents will be first identifying your vocal scale, and that we will get help from Ramesh Bhai. And if you know somebody else who is extremely good on keyboard, you can ask them to help you as well. And once you understand that, then understanding your vocal range. Vocal range means we can do Sarigama like this. But most of the songs are not only composed on Sarigama Padanisa, but it will also be composed on a scale lower than this, meaning like this. So they would go beyond the upper sa to the next thing. So if you think about the song that we did last time, Mere Dolna, the song ended in, it started with this, but it ended here, the upper ga. So it ended in upper ga. So anytime you pick Sarigama Padanisa, your scale, you will need to have the ability to sing some of the notes lower than your sa and some of the notes upper than your upper sa, meaning like this. If this is your sa, we should be able to, we should be able to sing the notes that are lower than this, meaning like this. So if this is sa, the knee below it, the below it, and pa below it, or the upper sa, re ga above. So most of the time when we talk about the 7 notes, we will also have to be comfortable. So you have to pick the scale in such a way that you should be able to sing certain notes, at least a few of the notes above the upper sa and few of the notes below the lower sa, and typically 2 or 3 notes below and 2 or 3 notes upper. So that's what we want to understand, your range, where your comfortable scales. And Ramesh Bhai is a super expert in this space, and he can really help you out. So you have to really reach out to him. I mean, he's pretty busy, as you know, but he can certainly help you out to figure out the scale. Okay, I'm not really an expert, but I can try. But I'm not really an expert in actually picking the scale itself. Okay, and for that you really need a very highly trained musical ear to to do that. Second, and then the third in the content, once we have identified your proper scale, then you have enough range, then we'll get to what we call alankars. Alankar means just combination of notes, means it will sound something like this. So you will so this is one simple combination, or see you can have something like sa re ga re sa re ga ma ga re sa. So you will have variety of different combinations. With these 7 notes, we can do magic. Actually, there are so many different combinations. At least you should learn 10 to 15 of them. Well enough that you always, when we say Sarigama Padma, you're exactly on the same frequency. You have to make sure that, and this is where you really have to train the ear in such a way that when you we have to train our ears in and the throat in such a way that we exactly match with the frequency, and for each of those frequencies, Sarigama Padma. And then once we learn these alankars, then comes the speed, meaning then we have to make sure that we are able to do alankars at fixed speed, meaning not like random. We don't go see some notes slow and some notes fast and skip and things like that. We should be able to do very, very in equi speed, meaning or at double speed. So once you start singing the alankar, you have to learn the alankar at a fixed pace and then double it, meaning the speed should be double. So that will be the next thing we are going to learn. And then what Paribha always tells is about controlling the volume at the pitch. Meaning, so when you say, for example, sa, right? So sa, the sa can be at a very, very low volume, like this. So the pitch is same, but the volume goes up, and the volume can be super high, but the pitch will be the same lower pitch. So the frequency remains the same. The throat frequency remains the same, but the volume can go so low. So some of these, singers, as you know, a lot of these songs, they start at a very low volume. For example, so they will use the frequency in Kashmiri Kalime, Rafi Sabka song. They will start at a very low volume, and then the song uses the same frequency but at a higher pitch. At a higher volume. So controlling the volume is a pretty important technique to learn. Then the other thing he always talks about is the breathing techniques. So where do you take a breath? When and how we do the breathing is a pretty important thing, because in any song, the start and the end, every part is important, but the start and end of every line is pretty important, because if you don't take the breathing properly, by the time you end the song, end the line, both the pitch and the volume would have dropped than what the composer wanted. So it won't sound good, obviously. So the song may sound okay, but the thing is, it will not be correct. It will not remain at the same volume and the same pitch, because you are going out of breathing control, or you will stop somewhere the line ahead of the end point. So these are the things that we are going to really talk about, and this will take a few months to really perfect in your own mind. And so these are the very basic things that I want to really focus on. And we're going to get help from different people. Different people are going to start really talking about different parts of this. And we will, as the class goes on, we will bring in different people to talk about the different parts of the class. With that said, I will let Ramesh Bhai talk about how he about the scale and how he plans to do the scale part of it.
So, hello everybody. Rambai, this is a very difficult subject, but you try to simplify it pretty good. Way back when, I think on SKS, I did another similar kind of thing. So, when you look at this slide that we have up there, Rambai has picked his sa from a certain point on the keyboard. And as he said, that sa can be from anywhere. When you look at those black keys, by the way, those black keys go Kali 1, Kali 2, Kali 3, Kali 4, Kali 5, back to Kali 1, right? And similarly, you go Safed 1, Safed 2, and so on. In English, they go like C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and so on. So everybody has to figure out their range, where their sa can start from. And once you know that, most of the song that you will sing will start from there. Now, if you're singing something else, then Ye Dunya, which other one? Dunya Ke Rakhwale. Then of course you'll have to start pretty low, and so on. So this becomes an individual thing as to where your scale is, where you are comfortable. And either you can figure it out if you have a keyboard at your home, and you can start playing Sare Gama from, just like Ramba has done, from Safed 1, from C, and see if you can sing effortlessly all the way through. Sare Gama Pada Ni Sa. So in my case, I can start from where Rambai Sa is and go all the way up, and I can sing it effortlessly. Not everybody can do that, and don't worry about that. That's fine. So if you think you have to bring it a bit lower, then you come down a bit lower, and even you can go Sa Re Ga Ma Pa Da Ni Sa, and that will become your sa. So once you establish that, that is your scale most of the time. It could vary depending on the song, but that's your main scale, and that is your Madhya Saptak, as it says there. When you hit a note which is in the lower octave, now you are touching the Mandra Saptak. If you go over the sa that you have picked, top sa, then it becomes tar Saptak. I think the best thing would be to do it more on an individual basis. If anybody wants to call me, most welcome to do it, and we can do a quick figure out where your scale is. So that's fine too. If you know somebody in the neighborhood who plays keyboard, and there are quite a few of you, Nitin Bhai, Vinod Bhai, even Jetwa Sahib, the one who is doing the classes, Narendra Bhai. So whoever can play keyboard, they can probably help you out. And I think for now, Rambhai, I don't know how much more we need to tell them, but
right. So which is correct, but thank you. So essentially, this class so the next step in the class is, sorry, one second. So we get that we need to understand what is not there in the class, so that we are all on the same page. We are not trying to learn a specific song. Okay, so we are not trying to learn a specific, and we are not going to do any of the advanced course content, meaning there are very complex alankars. I think we are not ready for that. And for that we need to learn the basic alankars, which will take several months. And once we do that, which already will take us to a good spot, and then and then the alankars, instead of the double the speed, we have to do at the quadruple speed. Meaning, for example, so to do in a quadruple speed, it will, so that I would think is an advanced thing. And then finally, it's something called akar. Akar is reproducing the frequency without an alphabet, without saregama padam, I mean like this. So we should be able to, for example, at any point you should be able to press something and should be able to reproduce the sound. There is no word, no alphabet, no sa, no re, just you are hearing a sound and you are able to reproduce. So akar is nothing else but when somebody plays a keyboard, we should be able to just match the sound just with the sound without any sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. There is no, so it is like floating in the air, and your frequency goes up and comes down based on what you are hearing, and you are able to match it perfectly. So akar is again an advanced thing. But as far as the scales are concerned, right? See, it is like this. The only reason why we are particular that we should figure out your scale is because all the alankar you have to learn on your scale and not on any other scale. And once your alankars are perfect, meaning different kinds of combinations of notes, saregama padanisa, different ways in which it can be combined. Once that becomes perfect, then the song itself could be in a different meaning. For example, रात कली एक ख्वाब में आई, or रात कली एक ख्वाब में आई. The frequency is different, or it can be on higher. रात कली एक ख्वाब में आई. So the song can be in multiple frequency. So you don't know how so depending upon the song, each song is composed to a specific scale. So once you become an expert in figuring out in your own scale all the variations of the notes, then it becomes easier for you to put yourself into a different scale and sing a song like Lag Ja Gale Ke. So it is not at all in my scale. It's not at all in my scale. It's completely out of my scale. But at least I will be able to possibly try to switch from one pitch to another. But it's still Saregama Padanisa, except that the pitch is very high. So so my mind will know how to switch these kinds of things. So it's very, very important to understand your scale and practice all the alankars. So alankar is not, think of this Saregama Padanisa is nothing else but it's a difference of frequency. See, it's only a frequency difference between Sun, Re. So if you see the screen here, between Sun, Re, there is a black key there. So there is a difference of two notes between sa and re, and same between re and ga. But between ga and ma, there are no other notes. It's only one half a note difference. So this the mind should get used to this exact frequency difference, and once you do that, then you can switch yourself to any different scale of a song that. So the karaoke could be in a completely different scale, and your mind can tune to that. And I think that is the whole point. The whole point is to able to listen to a frequency and able to try to reproduce that frequency in your scale. And once you do that, all your songs, trust me, will start sounding so better, and you will be able to switch from a lower note to upper note in a very smooth and curved fashion. And I'm myself learning in this space, so I really hope that this is going to help you. And I think that is about that's it for today's class. Except I want to end it with by saying that there are certain cases where Paresh Bhai will come and give a talk on specifically on the volume control part, and also on the breathing techniques. He knows a lot about it, so he will really talk about those aspects of singing. Paresh Bhai, you want to give like a couple of lines on that?
Yeah. So a couple of things I wanted to add to what you were saying on the keyboard and what Ramesh Bhai was talking about as well, and then I can talk about what breathing techniques and understanding scale when you're looking at a lyrics of a song, where it's very, very important, because if, like in swimming, if you don't breathe, you can't swim. Same with music. It's not the case that you can't sing. You can sing, but you need to understand there's two types of breathing techniques with your nose and your mouth. So I'll talk about that in more detail at a later stage when we get into understanding music and starting to sing by using the lyrics. That will be kind of later on. But 2 points I want to make. If you've got an iPhone or any mobile device, you can download a keyboard, harmonium. If you go to your store, I've got one on my phone. I've got piano on my iPad. I do have the harmoniums and guitars. But if you're on the road and you want to practice, or if you don't have any of these equipment, you can download these from the App Store or the Google Store. My one, which I've got, is Harmonium Plus. So you can download that and start practicing your scales. It's great because along it only gives you the keys that you need to play to do your lankas. If you start today learning your lankas, and I would say for me it was very, very difficult, because I learned all my music in an English format. Compared to when I started learning Hindi music and singing Hindi songs, I had to translate everything from English to Hindi. So in the Hindi format, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. But if it's exactly the same. Sa is C, the C, D, E, F, A, B, C. So it's exactly the same thing, but if you turn that around. The other thing I wanted to say, normally when you learn your keys, like Ramesh Bhai was saying, to learn your keys, you can go on the keyboard. If you've got a keyboard or harmonium, you can go on it and start at the sa, the middle sa, which is on this grid. So it's best to take a photo of this. Ram Bhai will share the sheet with you, this deck with you, so you can pick it up. But if you take a photo of this now, you can see where the middle range is of sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. That's the main C, sa, and you would, to understand where your starting point is. For men, they would normally go quite low, so they may even be able to go their sa maybe up to maybe D, P, D, N. Pa da ni sa, so could be pa da. So you can go 2-3 lower than that. So if I'm comfortable singing on pa, I could actually try to go ma ga. So as low as ma ga, but that's for men. The female scale will most probably be kind of middle range from G, M, P onwards. So if don't try to start singing from ga, thinking that's your ga, because I made this mistake because from English, translating it from English to, Hindi, mine's kind of going on B. So if you work out what B is, that would normally be, so if your middle sa is sa, mine would be da na, da ni. So before that. So, but then if my da is my basic note, I could actually go 2 lower, which is ma pa, or I can go, then my scale, if I'm starting with pa as my C scale, sa, if you work out from there, sa, re, ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, that will take you to my ma. So it will take me to ma at the end. That will be my high end sa, if that makes sense. And then you would actually only try to go, for ladies, you will only try to go 3 scales higher so if your size is starting with ga, which is in the middle, if your ga is there, you would be going ga, ma, pa, da, ni, sa, re, ga, ma, and then ga would be the end, and then you want 3 scales up. So no, don't try to go too high because you won't be able to do it. Only trying to practice too low and too high when you find out where your scale is. And that's the way you should try to find your scale from there. But I mean, we'll talk about more of this at a later date. I'm sure, are we giving them a task to find out themselves their task?
Yeah, so since most are not really experts, right? I mean, they will need somebody to help them, to guide them, to figure out the scale. So Ramesh Bhai is offering help. I think Nitin Bhai can help as well. We need to check with them. And Vinod Bhai, once he's fine, maybe we can ask him. And I'm not sure who else really knows the keyboard and figuring out the scale, because scale figuring out is different from playing the keyboard, right? I mean, so but so once, yeah, for example, my sa, right? So my sa is not, so what they call the Madhya Saptak sa is not my sa. So my sa starts from the black, between D and N, between the and ni, the black key, that's where my sa starts from. So my sa actually starts from there. And it's important to pick the sa in such a way that I can go from that sa to the next sa, but also to the re, ga, ma of, like on the upper end, and on the lower sa, under the lower sa, I should be able to go to the ni, the, pa, or at least up to ma. So it is important that we pick the thing in such a way that we can comfortably go, because a lot of songs, for example, Ram Kare, so they start from the certain notes below the sa, and then they go switch to Sarigama Padanisa. So we should be able to know, to make sure that we have got enough power to go down and above the scale that we have picked. Certain notes, lower and above. So hopefully we'll do this. I mean, it sounds like a rocket science, but trust me, all that you need is somebody who knows it. And once you know the scale, then what I was thinking is, since all of you don't have the keyboard and instruments, then I can do is I can use that scale and record all the alankars for you on that scale, on the scale that is yours, and then I can record and send it to you so that you can practice it. Or if you have an app or anything, and if you're comfortable to play on that, because playing the keyboard itself becomes a task. So if you want to avoid that, I can record all the alankars for you in your scale and each of your scale, and because all of the scale, I believe that will fall into 3 or 4 categories, not more. So we should be able to do that. So I should be able to do that easily.
Rambai, the other thing I wanted to also add is that don't get mixed up with harmonium notes and vocal notes, because they could be very, very different.
Yeah.
So you're looking at notes and you're looking at any lyrics which has harmonium notes on it. Don't take them for granted, because your scale will be totally different to what that says on the notes. It's very important.
Yeah, true. So because see, all of these composers, I mean, I then have to pick some scale, and that is the scale they compose the song on, and they do that because of the singer, because of the situation, because whether the actor is a male actor, female actor, the situation. So they pick a scale based on so many factors. But once they have picked it, all the karaoke and everything, I would think, is set to that scale. And as a singer, we should be able to sing in that scale. And if we can't sing in the scale, we should not be picking that song because it will not sound good. I mean, if you see even the trained singers, right? If you see Mukesh, it was all lower notes. If you see Rafi, significantly higher notes, but Rafi had a capability to switch to pretty lower notes as well. And if you see, so they had their own styles, and they very rarely went out of their style. Rafi never did, yodeling. Kishore never tried to sing super, classical songs, because it is not. I mean, he did certain songs, but most of his songs were not. And Mukesh had his own very, very specific style of song and the frequency of song, which was all on the lower scale. So even expert singers really, Rahat has his own scale. So they never really go out of their zone. So we should also not do that. We should always pick songs that are, meant for our scale, and stick to it. We can go a little bit here and there, but not like try to pick a Lata Mangeshkar song or totally a cycle song when if it doesn't fit our scale. There are few people who can really do multiple scales, but that's a challenge.
Yeah, that needs a lot of training.
True.
And they're fully trained to do that.
Correct.
The other thing I wanted to add is when you pick a song to sing, a lot of you have done this, and you know that when you say, "Oh, I want to try to sing this song," you start singing it, and you get to a point where the scale goes so high, and you're really struggling.
Yeah.
That part is telling you that you're not. The song is. Each song has a scale that it's been written on, and it's been made on. So if you find a song that's happening to you, but you really love to sing it, you can still sing it. It's not that you can't do it, but you have to use a technique of reducing the pitch of that song and dropping the scale of that song to be able to sing it in your own way. And Rambai, one thing I learned what I'm really grateful to Rambai for is he actually taught me this, where I can actually sing a song in my own way, not the way that the person is singing. So don't try to imitate the person who's singing it. So this is all about being comfortable in how you sing a song and making it your song compared to making it sound like Lata or Mukesh or Rafi, because we'll never ever be people like that, because they're so great. We can only be as good as what we are, and by practicing. And one thing that Rambai has always taught me, we were talking about, is we're always learning every day about everything. Every time we sing a song, we're always learning something new. And we never, when you think that you know everything, that's when you really don't, because that's when you stop learning. And but all of you guys are fantastic because you want to learn. That's why you're here today. So really, really good.
Yeah, that's very true. So thank you. We will talk a lot more in the coming classes. The class will become really interesting for you, personally, is when you start, learning alankars like this, right? And that's coming, and all that is, so once we know your scale, we can get to, from basic alankars to that, and you will start loving it, because you will realize that once you identify your scale and somebody, and for example, if I record and send it to you, so the keys for it and for the alankar, you will see that your voice floats in those frequencies, because it's called, in physics, it's called resonance. So resonance happens when your voice matches the exact frequency of the key, like this. So my ear starts vibrating, because my eardrum starts vibrating, because the moment it stops vibrating, then I know that I'm not exactly in the same frequency, because it's called a resonance. The resonance happens, and you will start realizing, you will see suddenly as if your volume is going up, even though you're not increase the volume, because the sound exactly matches that the frequency that comes out of the string. And once you start doing that, you will really love all of these alankars, and you will keep doing it again and again. And that will make you realize that when you pick a song in your scale, it will sound so good, because it naturally fits in your scale. See, somebody like Ramesh Bhai, right? He can take a high-pitched scale song and he can sing in in his down the scale song, and it will sound perfect. Because he is using his keyboard and he has figured out the scale of the original song and uses the same technique but at a lower scale, and he will sing, or the other way. I mean, he will pick a lower scale song and then he can pick a higher scale, because he's playing the thing. But for people like you and me, so we got a say karaoke, we don't have that luxury. We will have to match the scale of the recording. But there are also techniques. For example, if you have a higher scale pitch, and if you know the scale, you can exactly drop one scale lower and sing at that one scale lower. Even then the song will pretty much sound pretty good. But if you do anything else, it will not sound good, because, for example, if you from upper sa, if you drop to lower sa, it will still sound, the song will still sound good on the original karaoke. It won't be bad, but it will sound the best, of course, in the exact scale. But if you drop exactly one scale down, it will not sound too bad. But if you do anything else in the middle, if you start somewhere in the middle, it's not going to sound great. And that is what we want to really learn. And I want you to understand these techniques, what all the musicians and all these people do. So anybody has any questions? Ramesh Bhai, I know you have like another call that's starting now. Feel free to please drop. I'm sorry if I've taken time, but
For an 8:30 meeting or a 3:30 as we are here in the US.
right.
Yeah, we got 15 minutes for that meeting. That's okay.
But something happened yesterday. I don't know how many of you were listening to the Guru Purnima program yesterday, and I started singing Mohe Lagi Lagan Guru Charanan Ki, and I picked up the wrong scale by mistake. And as soon as I hit the first stanza, I realized it. And like Rambai said, I kind of stopped. I brought my scale lower by 3 notes, and then I continued. I can only do this because I'm playing my own harmonium here.
Right.
If you are on karaoke, you are stuck.
You are stuck. Yeah. So you're really stuck. But these are some of the nuances. It's not rocket science. You will figure out. Trust me. You will know your ears will start telling you that you're off. Meaning, if I'm doing like this, your ears will tell that you're off. Your ears will start telling you're off, and that's all I want really you to know. And once you do that, scale is something that that you will know. But the important thing is, if I close my eyes, so like I should be able to know that I am off. So the frequency I'm choosing is off. I should know that, and that's all I want you to know. And once you do that, all your songs, you will automatically know, matching your song to the karaoke, And if you can't, stop. Either try to match it. If it doesn't match, stop. Don't sing the song, because that song is not for you. So you have to figure out the song that is it. Rahat Fateh Ali Khan will never try to sing a bouquet song. Trust me. No matter whichever is the thing, even though he's super expert. These people are like near to God, in music, but they will not sing a song that does not fit them.
Unless the money is right. Unless the money is right.
No, but
I don't think he'll do that still. I don't think he'll still do that.
No, see, because music is so vast. There are so many songs in their own bandar. They really don't have to go out of the thing. So, if you look at the Bollywood music in your scale, there will be hundreds of songs. Why bother to sing something that doesn't match? Mm-hmm. There's no reason to do that. There are thousands of songs already, in the thing. So, unless you luck out and have somebody like Ramesh Bhai with you, then of course. then you can float on it. I mean, then he can match your scale and do it, that magic. But then that is not everybody.
Rambai, are you going to share the Lankas with them?
Yeah. So these are the. I mean, I'm not sure. So you won't know it, but these are the handwritten notes of the different alankars. It is nothing else but different combination. Trust me, this a trained teacher might teach the thing for 2 to 3 years. You will stay only in Saregamapadanisa. Trust me, they will not. There is no song ever comes unless you cross the 2 to 3 year mark, because to study those frequencies, because once you do that, those kind of students, they can sing any song in Saregamapadanisa, but we don't want to do that, because it is too much classical, and we are not here to do that. But what I want to know is, not having any knowledge of that is not going to do justice. We may be singing for 3 years, but it will sound the same. But if our song is not improving, that means we are not fundamentally correcting the thing. And that's all. So doing these alankars, the 15-20 of them, about 30 minutes a day for 2 to 3 months, trust me, the same Rafi song, the same, An Evening in Paris song would sound so different, so different. And that's all, I think, so I want to do, because, you'll be happy if you did it.
Just to add to that, even if these Sona Nagam, all these famous people, they do their lankas every day, even now, because they have to keep that training going. It's fundamental. I would actually say we need food to eat to keep the body going. This is a food that you need to practice every day, even 10, 15 minutes. Even if you don't need to sit in front of a keyboard, you could do this in your head while you're cooking, or while you're traveling to the car, to work, or if you're going away. In your head, you can practice it.
Yeah.
You don't have to say it. You have to, it's more a fundamental that you understand it all the way through. And it's not just doing the Sarigama Padanisa me karli tu pati my practice keri all the way through. And it only improve your singing. It's not going to improve me by you doing it or not doing it. If you want to learn and you want to practice and get better and better, this is your food, your basic food, water and what your water. I would say it's needed if you want to be a good singer and improve your singing. And more you do it, the better you get all the time, because your vocal range will increase.
Yeah, because see the thing is, see the composer will do something like this. So they will use the lower scale, upper scale, lower scale, upper scale. They will switch. The question is your throat ready to switch? Not from sa, from sa to re. Is your throat ready to switch from sa to ga, sa to ma, sa to pa? So different frequencies. And as we practice, so we can switch 2 notes, 3 notes, 4 notes, 5 notes in the single breath, and that is really the practice will let us do that. And it is one step at a time. Really, it may sound really like a rocket science, but as you learn one thing at a time, one alankar at a time, it is not really tough at all. And you will start. I mean, it builds one on the other. So none of this comes in the next few months. You trust me, all of this becomes very, very easy for you. You would have done hundreds of times already. You learn 1, then 1, 2, then 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then never learn only one thing. So even when I take this whole thing to the class, everything starts with Saregamapadanisa. There is no exception. 0. You put it, you do it, set your mind, you close your eyes, you get to the mode, and believe me, the same song that I sing, it sounds so good when you do the practice and sing. Because all of those frequencies just fit perfectly into that, like into those notes, So before your program and everything, you can learn like on the keyboard, do the alankars and then sing. Trust me, that song will sound so much different.
It's a muscle memory as well, because when you play something, you sing it, You sing against your scale, it's registering in your database, in your head, in your brain. It's registering it. And you start to, when you hear a song, once you learn this in this way, you'll actually know what scale that singer is started on. So, Bhakti Ben is singing a song, and she started on a song, and you know what scale she started on. You start to recognize these things, that like rags and things like that. We do shows about rags and things like that, and you tend to understand what the rag is in that song, what song is being sung, and these are all related to what we're going to be teaching.
Yeah. Good. I think it was, like hopefully you'll start appreciating the music. I know it's quite dry sometimes, but soon in the next couple of classes you'll get a hang of it, and then like once you know the scale and everything, you will love it. Trust me, you'll love it. Just hang on. All right. Any question? Do you have any questions? Anybody? You can please unmute and ask any questions specific to the class. Yes, please unmute and ask.
Rambhai, are these the same alankars that you asked us to practice about a year ago? And they are on YouTube.
Right, but one difference is, not the same. Some are the same, and there were only a few, but I've got a whole bunch that that was a sample. But there are about 20 to 30 different alankars, and the alankars with first alankars, then double speed, then the quadruple speed, all becomes quite challenging, and then alankar without sarigama padans, except just with the throat, they all become pretty complicated. So that is, see, you're right. Except that alankar will be for your scale. See, sarigama padan is see, for example, this is different from both are sarigama padanisa, right? But so one scale is different from the other scale. So that was just I did it. But now for this class, we have to pick whether you start from here or you start from here. So we want to know that. So we want to know where your sa is, which is your, is this your sa or this is your sa so we want to know the sa, and once you know the sa, then alankar is correct, the same alankar. So I will record, once I know this is the sa, so I will start recording all the alankars on that sa. Okay. So and give it, then you can practice on that one. So I'll do for everybody, I'll customize and do it, no problem. I would love to.
Thank you, Rambhai.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Ramesh Bhai, can you give us some time slots that is convenient to you for us to ring you, so that we know that you can unmute?
Ramesh Bhai, you muted.
Sorry. WhatsApp or message me, because there is a 5-hour time difference. Just remember that. So anytime after 8 o'clock in the morning in USA, which is your 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that's fine. Send me a message and then I'll let you know, okay, when we can talk.
Sure.
Right?
Thank you.
Can I ask a question? I've acquired a harmonium, and did I hear it right that keyboard and the harmonium, there's difference? Try it out?
No, so the keyboard that I have is a Yamaha keyboard, and it has harmonium built in it. So this is an Indianized Yamaha. So Yamaha makes Indian-based keyboards. So I specifically got this from India. So it has all sorts of Indian instruments built, including flute, sarods and everything. But so it has 3 different kinds of harmonium in it. So you don't really have to buy, in general, unless you want to buy to begin with to practice. Unless you already have it, don't go and buy anything. First get a hang of all the alankars, and once you're totally into it, then I would suggest that like investing in a harmonium or a keyboard might be Indianized version of a keyboard might be.
So I can practice on the harmonium at the moment. Or
Yeah.
Do you
is
have
it
it?
different? I've got one. Yeah, I've got
Oh
one.
yeah. You can. I mean, so if you have it, it is needless to say you should use it.
The keys are the same
Yeah,
anyway. The keys
Ah,
are
that's what I meant. Yeah. Is
yeah.
it
Except you
any-
have to know from Ramesh by where your sa starts.
we learn.
So harmony has got a lot of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's the one who's got she's on the high scale.
Paresh, don't tell me that now. I have to work it out myself.
Now, I won't tell you. I know what yours is, but I won't tell you.
It depends on how much alcohol I've had, lower or higher.
Yeah. So the important thing is not where you start, but can you end on the other side, and also can you go beyond that?
Yeah.
So all that he will figure out. Yes, Shakul. Yes, Shakul.
okay. So I'm gonna leave now.
Yeah, sure.
Rambai, do
Bye.
we have to tell you which sa we are using, or we just practice the way we have been practicing by using the sa that is comfortable to us?
If you
Do I have to
already
tell-
know, if you all, in a sense, you've learned classical music. If you already know your sa, just tell me the sa. And if you do, so do you have a keyboard?
I've got harmonium and keyboard, but I prefer harmonium, please.
Okay, fine. Yeah, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, as you know, harmonium is good because it matches with the Hindustani classical notations.
Okay.
So if you have it, if you know your scale, then when we talk about the alankars, do the alankar, and I will tell you at that time how to hear and make sure that you're on the frequency, because it is not enough just to tell. See, it is not like telling like a parrot saregama padanisa, right? That we all can say. The question is the frequency of the key that you're pressing matches with the sound that you're producing.
Yeah.
So it should be one sound, not two sounds.
Okay.
So when you hear, and that is really the whole thing is about listening and reproducing the sound. Exactly that what you hear, and that is really the key. So we'll talk about it as we really get into the alankar. But if you already have the keyboard, and if you don't know the scale, ask somebody where like on your scale the sa starts. If not, if you know the scale, fine. If you're not, please contact Ramesh by. Any other questions? Hey, Kumar bhai, thank you for joining. Like, I'm glad you're able to join.
I'm actually delighted I was able to join. I think this is a phenomenal class. I would like to be a part of this.
Yeah, I know it is tough for a lot of people who work and at different times of the thing. But even if you listen to the recording, trust me, if you spend 30 minutes a day, you will thank me a lot, because I thank my teacher a lot for correcting some of the things. So as you start learning, you won't even realize how your songs have already started sounding good.
We already thank you for the assistance you've given us from the beginning on this one. I've learned so much through you. So
no, I'll really be happy if because this is very fun. See, this is different. Like I told you, right, Kumar bhai, this is different from other classes. In the other class, you're learning a specific song. Here, you're not learning any song. In fact, you're not learning any song at all. You're learning sounds. You're learning sound to produce from the throat, which is the biggest gift. Once you do that, it impacts all the song, because now you can sing all the song. I mean, you can sing all the song the way it was meant to be. So that is the beauty of this thing. This is very, very fundamental. So I think we are all ready for it. We have been singing, but I think we should be singing better and better as time goes on. And these kind of techniques will help. Anything else? Anybody?
Yeah, Rambai, I don't have keyboard or harmonium, anything like that, but I love singing, so I don't know which scale I'm singing or whatever it is.
Yeah. So for somebody like you, there are two steps. One is you contact Ramesh bhai, and you understand the scale. Once you know the scale, I mean, either he or you can tell me the scale. Then I will all the alankars that are there. So alankar by this combination of the notes that you should be practicing, I will record for you and send it to you.
All right, thank you.
So it will be like having the keyboard with you, but except you're hearing the song from the keyboard. So it's as good as this. So you also don't have to learn the keyboard and all this thing, so you can just hear and do.
Sorry, I heard somebody hasn't got a harmonium. Who hasn't got a harmonium?
Aruna.
Aruna, તમે તમારા neighbor છો. I have one harmonium. It needs a little bit of care. You're free to collect it. You need to get it serviced. That's all.
Okay.
Let me know. I can drop it to you either.
All right, because I'm at Savita's house, so yeah, it's much better. You are living close by, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Send me the
Both
address.
one
Yeah?
harmony.
Okay.
But you will have to get it serviced unless Paresh will do it for you. But I'm not sure. But if he probably
I think Paresh Bhai is already left.
Yeah, I don't think he'll have a time to do it because if you take it to Bina, they'll service it for you. It'll cost you 50 to 80 pound or something. But I've got a spare one. Yeah.
Okay.
You can have
All
it
right.
free.
Okay, thank you.
I think it will be well worth it. Yeah. Anybody else? Any other questions? Okay, awesome. Have a wonderful evening. We will, I think, either next week or the week after that we'll meet. Based on how much, how many people have the scale set. Because then we can start, at least with those. But without your skill set, don't try to learn anything. Learning the wrong way will be the worst thing because it's like learning driving in the wrong way. And once your mind gets set to a wrong learning thing, then to learn right way, you'll have to first unlearn the first one and then learn again. So don't sing any alankars because you read it somewhere in Google or anything. So
Rambai, that's what I was going to mention as well, because on a social there are a couple of people who have put a YouTube link for Sargam. I would say stick to one rather than following any other.
Yeah. And also whenever you learn Sargam, don't follow anything on the YouTube or anything because you should learn the only thing you can learn from them is, if any. But I think given the number of Sargams I have, there is really no need to even Google. The most important thing is to learn all the notes in your natural frequency, and don't try to generally sing without any keyboard in the background because you'll be learning the wrong way, and then unlearning can be a problem because mind. So once the mind learns that way, to unlearn can be difficult. So don't do that. Wait for me to provide you the recording, or if you have the keyboard, somebody to identify your scale, then start. Then when I tell you the all the alankars, start one by one, and don't try to jump and try to do 4 alankars, 5. We are not in a race. It is all about learning it right and learning correct. It's not about the speed. So speed you will catch anyway. So once our basics becomes good, the speed will automatically come. So the mind will tell you to go at a speed, but generally don't try to learn too many things. It won't help. Okay. It's like we don't want to hit a sixer right straight away. I mean, you have to learn the proper way. 1 run, 2 run. Stay on the crease. Out nahi hona chahiye. Before and then once you get the confidence, you will know when to hit.
Sixer. Yeah. So weekly class or fortnightly class?
No, it should be weekly. But the thing is, before we get into alankars, at least bulk of us who are going to attend should have the scale set, because then we can go one by one and do the practice, right? So I just want to make sure that we have it going, so that at least some of us can practice in the class. Okay. All right.
So Rambai will get homework from the next week. Is this what you're saying? First we establish
next week or the week after that. Yeah. So I think about 60 to 70% of the people have got the scale set, then we'll go for it.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Rambai, do we simply indicate our scale on the same app that we are using?
Yeah. You can. It's actually indicate in the Sangeet Shala thing. And let me know if you need the recording. I'll be more than happy to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah. Recording for you means it's a practice for me, so it's good. See, it is interesting, right? Somebody's sargama will be somebody's sargama will be pretty fantastic, right? I mean, so think about it. Music is so good. So it is just, it's so nice because we are all the same human being, but different frequencies. We are all set, naturally set differently. So the keyboard is made so beautifully, so it practically can match everybody's throat very clearly. So all that you need to do is where the signature is matching. That's all.
Oh, sorry, Rambhai, one more question. Rambhai, when we start our sa, do we have to go on a white key or is it okay? Because mine is on the black key. My sa starts. Does it make any difference?
There is no difference between white key and black key. It's just a frequency. So this is black key. This white key. It is just a sound.
Okay. I thought it was sharp notes and
no,
doesn't make any
black
difference.
is not a sharp note or white note. The sharp note is if black is the sa, then the next is the re. Okay. So the white can also be sharp. It depends on where your sa started.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So my sa starts on a black key.
Okay.
It's not on the white key.
Okay.
So it's your natural. Take a deep breath. Sa. So whatever sa comes, then I press. So if I press anything else, I will know. Two songs. One song. It's natural. So as you press the key, you will know that there is one key, exactly one key where your frequency bang matches. There are no two frequencies. It's just one frequency, and that is your sa. And based on that sa, then Degama Padani sa comes. Then sharp and all these things come. So yeah, it is just a frequency thing. Okay, all right. Yeah, Harish bhai, you want to say anything?
No. I mean, you see, when we were practicing, I think, remember in SKS we started doing Alankar. Now, my question is one thing, like say it depends on the song that you are going to sing, going advance I'm talking, then sort of you are given, say for example, it's like KB4 stroke B1 stroke C sharp. So does it mean they are using three keys to start your song?
Yes, Harish bhai, it follows.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, so the thing is, yeah, so depending upon the karaoke you use, the scale will be different. Yeah, and depending on the song. I mean, basically the song.
On this one, there is no karaoke. It's just the vocal, the way you sing your song.
Oh, okay. You mean the one that we used to do, the Alankar?
Similar thing, but when we are singing certain bhajans, the harmonium guy will tell us you are on B1 or KB4 or whatever.
Right. To me, that's for the experts who play the
yeah. So the harmonium guy tells you your key is this for this song.
And if you see Sarigama, so the singer will say, "Oh, give me A sharp," and then he will, and then he knows from there he has to start the song. I mean, he knows where the song starts from there. So they will try to match. He say, "You give me this key, that key," because that is really based on.
So yeah, on that one, basically what we write down against our song, what our key is. So even if there is a new harmonium guy, we just tell him KB4 and then we are there,
Right. So that is for the keyboard people, yeah. But in our case, it is all hearing.
It's just a basic hearing, yeah.
So as a singer, it's all hearing.
So what Harish bhai mentioned, KB4 is a G lower sharp. So that's what he means. Ramesh bhai says you got Kari 1, Kari 2, Kari 3, Kari 4. So when he says KB4 is a lower key 4, black. So that's what he says. If he says KB5, what we meant in the bhajan is a lower black B5, which is A sharp. So and when he says B1 is a C sharp, so black 1. So that's what Harish bhai actually meant. That's all.
Right. Yeah. Good. Any other questions, anybody, before we hang up? All right. So mostly we will meet next Monday, if not the following Monday, based on how many people. But please reach out to Ramesh Bhai. He is really busy with his own shows and everything. But he's always ready to help. Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you, Rambhai.
Thank you. All right. Have a nice. We'll see you on Sunday then.